state of Carolina. If you see her and you know her, show her to me.
Friends, today it's my honor to have with me a great Grammy Award-winning gypsy jazz guitarist who has dedicated most of his life to mastering the music of the legendary Django Reinhardt, as well as being a prolific composer, teacher, and curator of the idiom. He specializes in the style of gypsy jazz, or jazz manouche guitar, which I confess I only knew a minimal amount of until I started disappearing into the rabbit hole recently. I still know very little, but hopefully we're going to learn a lot more today from one of the great masters, who I have here with me. The New York Times wrote, perhaps the most creative improviser in gypsy jazz today, Mr. Wrembel plays the guitar with a rich and colorful lyricism. Stephane is the author of Getting Into Gypsy Jazz and a Grammy Award-winning composer for his song Bistro Fata, which was featured in the 2011 Woody Allen film Midnight in Paris. Recently, I attended the Django A Go-Go main event at Symphony Space on May 9th here in New York City, a festival Stephane founded in 2003, honoring the music of Django Reinhardt, where he led and performed with 17 of the world's greatest musicians. To be honest, the reason I attended was to see the amazing guitarist Antoine Boyer, whom I recently interviewed, and his wife, virtuoso chromatic harmocist Yeore Kim. They were both great as part of Stephane's ensemble, but I did not know what to expect. The entire experience was incredible. I was totally immersed and entranced in Stephane's music. Now in its 22nd year, Stephane continues by bringing together the greatest gypsy jazz players from around the world, and the festival itself has since grown into a much wider week-long encompassing event, including a guitar camp instructed by Wrembel himself and some of the most amazing jazz players from around the world, such as Antoine Boyer, Mozes Rosenberg, Simba Baumgartner, Kaye, and a whole troupe of other virtuosos who performed several live concerts in Maplewood, New Jersey during that week. What a steal. Please welcome Mr. Stephane Wrembel. Stephane, great to have you here, man.
Thanks.
Sorry for the long-winded introduction.
Very good.
You know, you have a very interesting background. You were born in Fontainebleau, France, where the precursors of Impressionism once painted, and where Django eventually, didn't he settle? And later, it is later years and past there, I believe. You studied classical piano since the age of 4, having already won prestigious competitions at the National Conservatory before even picking up a guitar. Then one day you decided to pick up the guitar at a relatively late age, 15 or 16, because like most kids, you wanted to learn to play some Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, and old Genesis songs. This is what I heard. So I take it from the beginning you were focused on rock and you wanted to become an electric player. So my question is, when did you realize that you wanted to dedicate most of your time to focus on the music of Django Reinhardt playing acoustic guitar, and what was the key motivator to do it?
First, I don't think in those terms of electric, acoustic, whatever, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Love music. I always love music. I love music and I love painting and I love philosophy. These are the three things that I live for, you know. So I wanted to be a painter when I was young. You know, that was always what I wanted to do, and I never thought I had the capacity to be a musician because I was not such a good piano player. You know, I was like kind of, and I didn't really like the piano itself, classical piano. I was like, I don't know. Because I always loved Pink Floyd and Police, the Rolling Stones, whatever, you know. I love like more the rock side of life, you know.
Yeah.
Of course, I was born in 1974, so I saw a lot of things being born. Like The Wall is the first one I really remember. I remember my mom, you're wearing a Police t-shirt. I remember coming home with the record of Ghost in the Machine.
Oh, great album.
In the machine, the new Police is out. I mean, this I was young. I was like maybe 4 years old, you know. But that struck me, you know. Like she came home with this record, and she invited all the friends and brothers and sisters to come in the weekend, and we had a party at home. And they played because they had a good sound system, so they played the record, and everyone listened to the record. There was another time period, you know what I mean. So that's the music that I really loved, you know. It's all the rock stuff. I love the 80s stuff. I love all that. But then. When I was 17, like when I was 15, I started playing the guitar, and I immediately loved the guitar more than anything. And I progressed really, really quickly. So I felt like very good about it.
Probably. Like were you like at a professional level in 1 year when you say quickly?
No. But after 2 months, I could play like. My dream was to play Is There Anybody Out There?
So you could play Smoke on the Water in 2 months.
Oh yeah, no, I was able to improvise some blues, some stuff. I was able to play like like a Wish You Were Here and Is There Anybody Out There? Things like that, you know. But I discovered improvisation, and I was like improvising on everything I could, you know, with that pentatonic. I didn't know it was possible, but I had the passion, you know. And when I was 17 and I was in high school, I decided to become a professional musician. I was like, I'm going to be a guitarist. That's what I love the most in life. I don't care about that stuff at school. I want to be a guitarist, you know, which is a crazy idea.
But you had such a great musical vocabulary because of your mother wanted you to play piano. So that really must have helped you musically.
Absolutely. I studied piano at 4, and that's classical and also great help to shape the ears and stuff. And I had amazing teachers. So I decided to become a professional guitarist, which I didn't know what it meant. It doesn't mean anything, you know. It's just to make a living playing guitar, which is crazy because there's no
boundaries.
It's completely wild, you know what I mean? It's completely wild and no rules, and it's not for everyone. It's a wild, crazy path. At some point, I knew I had to study jazz, you know, so after my high school diploma, I went to a music school called the American School of Modern Music in Paris. And meanwhile, I asked my guitar teacher, Laurent Estin, who used to play a lot with Babic Reinhardt, and he played with the gypsies. He's really good. And I said, you know, I would like to start to study jazz because I want to be a guitarist, so I know I have to play everything. He was like, well, the place to start is Django Reinhardt, you know. So he started to show me like the comping for minor swing, a couple of melodies and stuff, and that blew my mind. And I was like, whoa, this is so cool. And then I went and I bought my first Django Reinhardt record. And then a few weeks later, which blew my mind, and then a few weeks later was the Django Reinhardt Festival. And I went there and I saw the gypsies play. And that I had a revelation that
really,
you're going to meet the gypsies, you're going to study, that is how you're going to play. It exists, that's what you're going to do. Because I could feel also it has a very, you know, if you want to play a rock guitar, you have to enter a certain world of like labels and rock bands and whatnot. But I mean, it's like a floating weird path like that. Well, I felt that this was grounded and there was a possibility to travel light. You know, you could play like all the time. You could play a gig here, a gig there, teach this, that. There's like a lot of things that were possible, you know.
Not like those drummers or keyboardists, they have to lug all that heavy equipment. You could just bring your guitar on your back. It was so easy.
Yeah, but you can play in small places, you can play in big places, you can play in any setting. I saw it that weekend being played in so many different settings and stuff, and it appeared to me that it was a very concrete thing. This concrete. Guys would sit down, a guy would take the guitar, start to strum something, the other one would come, they would start to play a song, then another guy would come, and another guy, and people started to like exchange. So immediately you had like concerts out of nowhere, out of nothing. The idea.
You must have jammed a lot where you lived as a teenager, jamming with other musicians all the time. You seem like...
Then, it was difficult to find people. We didn't have, it was 1993 perhaps,
Yeah.
So there was no internet, people didn't know Django Reinhardt really, except where I live because of the festival, because he's where he's buried, and also for us, he's very known, but otherwise, like, was not popular at all and stuff, So it was difficult to find masters. I had to go to Paris. I found a couple of guys, and little by little, I started to like enter the circle, of gypsies, go to their trailers and stuff, and jam.
Wow, what an experience. Do you still play electric guitar?
Well, I play guitar.
Yeah, but do you still string up the electric guitar every once in a while to play rock and popular music?
No, it doesn't work like that. It's just guitar.
I see. It's just guitar, just music.
Yeah, guitar. If you give me an electric guitar, I'm gonna make it sound like rock, or whatever, or not.
Yeah, not taking anything away from your extraordinary musical talents, because I've seen you perform. Because that would be absurd. But what impresses me even more is how you've been able to carve out a very successful niche for yourself in gypsy jazz. You also strike me as a very astute and driven businessman. If you don't mind me sounding a little cynical, but I mean this as a compliment. Because as creating and organizing a successful festival of this magnitude for 20 years isn't something that anyone can do. It takes a special person to do that. So my question to you, Stephane, was going into gypsy jazz at first a calculated decision where you knew your multiple and diverse talents, best served in a much less crowded space, could give you a greater chance of overall success?
Once again, I don't think like that.
Mm-hmm.
First, I don't like the word gypsy jazz.
Okay.
The gypsies, they play jazz and they learn from Django, and we learn from Django.
Right.
So when a gypsy plays and they have their old gypsy culture behind and stuff, perhaps you can call the thing gypsy jazz, but this is really jazz.
Gotcha.
It depends how you use the word jazz. When I refer to the word jazz, that's the name I give to the original archetype, the architectural frame that was born in New Orleans in the late 19th century. This is jazz. This is an inamovable frame. And we manifest that frame, we play around that frame, and because we're all different people, a different manifestation of the frame comes, you know what I mean, because of our personality. But this is the name of a frame. This is not the name of a genre or anything, you know what I mean? It's a frame.
Hey, I really appreciate you educating me on this, because as I said at the very beginning, I know a minimal amount about this idiom, but I'm learning a lot as I go along.
I'm not saying that I possess the truth. I'm just making sure that when we talk about this, you understand where I come from and how I use that word. Sometimes it's good to define which word you are talking, such as, well, do you believe in God? Like we have a very serious discussion in there because you have to define words, and that's not an easy thing. If you want to have a beautiful conversation with someone, you have to sometimes really define the words you're talking about. So when I refer to the word jazz, I refer to the archetypal frame. And we know that the first people to manifest it in New Orleans were the horn players, like the brass bands, brass band, clarinet, and then they had also percussionists. And later on, there were also the stride piano that came at that time, and after that, the banjo was getting in the dance, But it's only until you had Django Reinhardt that we heard the possibilities of a string quintet, only strings playing jazz, manifesting that. I know we have Eddie Lang and Joe Venuti, but it's not at all the level of Django. You know what I mean?
Sure.
We are not like big like Django or anything. It's more like a thing that we know now, you know, rather than Django Reinhardt. He really showed us exactly the mechanics of the guitar in jazz. You know, you have the entire thing. So if you want to play jazz and you study Django Reinhardt, you do yourself great service because it's also pure guitar.
Wow.
Guitar is the nature of the guitar. For example, I see, unfortunately, a lot of guitarists transcribing like saxophone solos, violin solos. Now, violin solos, sometimes it's okay, but like saxophone solos and trumpet solos and piano solos and stuff. But these are completely different instruments by nature. So you can carve melodies and stuff the way they do. We're a different species. We're the guitarist, you know what I mean? So pure guitar is something completely different. The way the strings are organized and the fretboard is organized, we have to take our own path. Sometimes we're going to skip a note or something like that because of the nature of the instrument. So if you follow the nature of the instrument, you're going to start to carve melodies and rhythms a certain way that a piano will not think about. Because for him, when a piano sees something, he sees a line, there is, why cut that one note? Okay, after that you have to hear. I'm not stupid. I understand, like, you have to listen and hear and all that. But for us, naturally, there is like shapes, for example, of diminished arpeggios and stuff that we're going to play that a piano will have no reason to play like that, you know? So first is to follow the nature of the instrument. And when you study Django as a guitarist, you follow the nature of the instrument. Yeah. Plus, Django Reinhardt was initiated in the right hand that is the same right hand as the oud, you know? And before that, we don't know, because it's lost in the hallways of time. Back to the dawn of humanity.
I like that. Lost in the hallways of time.
Yeah, and it used to be like, you know, like if you take a stick and you play a stick like that, well, they used to have a quill, so it looks a bit like that, you know. So they would hold a quill of an eagle. Like hit the strings, like it's the same movement, you know. So there is a way of hitting the string and producing a tone. Nowadays we use a pick, but it's still like hitting with a drumstick, but except it's with the side of the pick, you know. And so we have a very specific way of producing a tone on the instrument, which is the same as the oud, which is the ancient way, which mechanically they were way more advanced than us, you know. They were not lost in our Promethean maze, you know what I mean?
I'll just say one thing to that. I agree with you, but with all due respect, as far as horn players are concerned, Alan Holdsworth, if he were still alive today, may beg to differ. Because he tried to emulate being a horn player with his guitar playing.
Well,
and he did it pretty successfully.
I'll tell you what I think of Alan Holdsworth then.
Okay. Well, that brings me, let's get back to Django, actually, because this is what we're talking about.
Alan Holdsworth, honestly, I don't hear any melodies. I hear a bunch of things and effects, but I don't hear like a melody, you know. I think it's... But the thing with Alan Holdsworth, he was responding to his nature. Very mechanical nature, big fingers, this, that. So he was responding to something that is his own.
Yeah.
Good for him. But to produce a tone, you see, when you look at, for example, a violin player, they need to spend like 6 months just manipulating the bow. My daughter, she's 8 and she plays the violin. First 6 months, I was like, what's going on here? They don't play or what? Because they learn to like play with the bow, feel the bow, see the weight of it, move the wrist with it and stuff like that until they even first start to play, you know?
Yeah.
Same thing with like a clarinet. They have a very specific way of like holding the instrument, the mouse, and how to do this, how to do that, why do you press this and that. A classical guitar, the nails and all that, how to like really produce a tone. Every instrument has a technique and has a way to produce a tone. So why not on rock guitar and jazz guitar? It's because we lost our way, we forgot what come from the ancient time. The central thing when you play the pick is, do you have a certain way of producing the tone, which allows you to play with the same technique. One thing is going to sound one way, one thing is going to sound the other way.
That's really interesting because I spoke with Antoine Boyer, and as you know, Alan Holdsworth did a rendition of Django's Nuage, and it sounded nothing like the original. You would, if you didn't know what Nuage sounded like, you would not even know what this song was about. You know, it sounded totally from outer space.
Yeah, but I like melody too much, so I have like I don't like melodies when he plays. I hear a lot of like things. Yeah. It doesn't move me, honestly.
Gotcha.
You know?
You're a purist.
No, I'm not a purist. Hendrix moves me.
Mm-hmm.
Fleur moves me. Django Reinhardt moves me.
Yeah.
Robert Johnson moves me. And Alan Holdsworth doesn't move me. Okay. This is
different
life.
Strokes for different folks. You know, that's the beauty of everything.
I know why.
Yeah. Hey, what qualities do you feel set Django apart as a musician and performer to be so iconic that he single-handedly inspired multiple generations of musicians to create a style of music that was named after him?
That's pretty unique in the history of music. I think it has to do with the context also, the historical context, with the birth of the record industry. And there was like a conjunction of things that help a bit also, you know. Him being a gypsy also adds a little bit of romanticism around that, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And but let's not forget that Django is one of the greatest musicians who ever lived that we know of, you know. He's right up there with Bach, Beethoven, Debussy, Ravel. He's up there, you know.
Yeah, I want you to hold that thought right now because I had a question that was related. Compared to his contemporaries of the time, do you think that Django was the most advanced guitarist who ever lived?
Oh yeah, Django. I mean, in terms of classical, for example,
compared to his contemporaries of the time.
Yeah, but it's different. If you're talking about a flamenco player, it's a completely different universe, a completely different way of playing. Classic is something different. You have you have Segovia, the legend. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like you have Segovia, you have I don't know, like Sabicas, Paco de Lucia, and all that.
Yeah.
But otherwise, for jazz and modern guitar, everything that's played with a plectrum, you know, with a pick, is the absolute master. It's the guy. I agree. You practice Django, the better you're going to be at your instrument. This is mechanical. This is like, if you practice Bach, you're going to get better. That's it.
Right. Do you think Django would have been as good of a player if he did not have an accident in 1928? Do you think having only two fingers forced him to be a better player?
No, but it cleared the path for us because when you transcribe, when he solos, his chords he could play with all the fingers. Mm-hmm. The solo you could play only with two fingers. So when you transcribe, you can transcribe with two fingers and try to see because it comes from shapes. The guitar is a geometrical instrument. Yeah. You have a drawing, and you follow that drawing, you trace that drawing, and that drawing has sound. So instead of seeing like a black ink, you hear like a line of notes. You know what I mean? And all that is a manifestation of a geometrical manifestation. So when he plays, we can go back and you can see that he manifested like everything that needs to be manifested, you know. Of course, with more fingers, you do more things, but it doesn't matter because to play melodies like that was enough for him, you know. He showed us like everything we need to know. He also showed you that there is different families of fingering and that playing with two fingers is one of them.
Absolutely.
Finger, with two finger, with three finger, with four fingers all over the fingerboard are families of fingerings, and when you have them in your muscle memory, they blend and they become one. So whenever you want to interpret something, one fingering or another is going to manifest.
You know what's interesting is that I heard that he only used the ring finger and the pinky for chords, but he actually had more mobility with his pinky than I ever thought because I zoomed in on some of these photos, and he would play a B chord in a second inversion B chord like this, with the pinky on the high E string.
Yeah, and he had huge hands. He was a big guy. He
had
hands. So he had also like it was not completely a disadvantage, you know what I mean?
Amazing, man. Hey, I wanted to talk about your fascinating concept for Django Agogo, which is now 22 years strong. How did that all start back in 2003, and how has it evolved over the years?
Well, I wanted when I first arrived. You know, you have to understand. At first, you're a student of music, and then you have a career, which are two different things.
Yes.
For example, what I prefer is to play my compositions. I love to play my music. That's what I do best. You know what I mean? Because I compose a certain way, I play a certain way that fits exactly what I need. But I also love Django, and so I have those both things where I play Django and I play my music. You know. But I knew that when I first arrived in America, I noticed in 2000 that no one has ever heard of Django. I arrived at Berkeley, I played, and people are like, "What is that?" Even pictures and stuff, no one has heard of like what was going on in the world, you know. So I was kind of like a bit lonely over there with my Django thing, but I was there to learn Indian music, modern jazz, and all that, so that was fine, you know what I mean? Yeah. I learned, but there was no one. And in around 2002, 2003, like I moved to New York in April 2003, and they had like a new Django festival in New York. And I went there, and I tried to play there. They didn't want me in. That's okay. And whatever. I offered to play for free. I said, I take the subway, I come play for free. They knew me. They said, no, or whatever. So I was like, okay, if I cannot play in your festival, I'm going to create mine, you know?
Perfect. Love it.
I had an idea a bit of what I wanted to do. And so I went to their festival and noticed like everything that was wrong. From the production to the sound to everything, and I was like, all right, I can do way better than that. So I booked a weekend at Barbès in Brooklyn, and I had a couple of friends coming from France, and we played, and that was a very good start. We did a couple of workshops and all, and then the year after we did it again, and this time we booked a couple of clubs in Brooklyn and Queens, so we made it a little bit bigger. We did that for 2 or 3 years, and then in 2006, 3, 4, 5. Then 2006, we moved to Joe's Pub. So we would do like 2 nights at Joe's Pub or 3 nights. I forgot, 4 or 5 shows at Joe's Pub.
Great.
With different concerts every time and workshops and stuff. We did that a few years. And around 2010 or 12, something like that, we started to bring it on the road. So we would go down to like Virginia, up to Maine, and like, you know what I mean? It was a 2-week thing. It was like more like a touring thing at that point, you know. I would bring a few, and still with Joe's Pub in the end. And then in 2017 is when it took the final turn, really what I wanted, which means adding a real guitar camp to it. And adding...
that was my next question. When did you add the guitar camp? 2017.
And add a real big venue in it. So we did Carnegie Hall. We had a big show at Carnegie Hall with Aldi Meola, Stockel Rosenberg. Like we had like amazing guests, you know, and also a concert series in Maplewood, New Jersey, where I live.
Yeah,
and also the guitar camp. So, and that was the beginning of that new format, you know, which I absolutely love. So now I bring like some of the greatest players in the world, you know, and we do like that concert series in Maplewood. We have the camp for 40 students. See, I know other camps that are bigger, and they're too big. And I think like it's fun to hang and jam and stuff like that, but to learn, it's too big. And
too big's no good.
People don't have access to the quality they deserve. For example, if you next have Angelo De Bar, Serge Camps and Frank Anastasio releasing gypsy guitars too. We also have Sébastien Félix, great master from France, and Gizmo Graf, one also amazing master from Stuttgart, Germany. And the students, what we do is 4 groups of 10, and everyone learn with everyone. So we rotate the groups every day, so everyone has access to everyone, which avoids like something like you pay because Angelo De Bar is in the camp and you don't have classes with him, which I always thought it was weird. And also I love that people who are like more like on the beginner side, You have very advanced player to like mostly beginner, you know what I mean? So I put people in groups that fit them.
Yeah, I love that. I love that you're all inclusive with your guitar instruction.
Exactly. And also a guy like Angelo Debar, if you're a beginner, is going to show you some stuff that's good for you. If you are very advanced, going to show you something that's good for you. The guy is a master.
Sure.
So it's not because he's a master that he can teach only people who are very advanced. He can teach a beginner and give like very precious advice. You don't put your hand properly. When I started, we used to do this one exercise. Your chords, listen how you do it. See what I mean? There is like incredible concept. So, and I think with 40 people, we have a big enough group. Because 40 people is a lot of people.
Yeah.
So it's a big enough group, but a small enough group. So
that's
we are
perfect. 40 people. Like you don't want 100 people. It's too big. 40 people is perfect.
Perfect.
Wow. You know, I was a huge Al Di Meola fan when I was a kid. I owned all of his early albums. I scratched them up trying to learn all of the parts when I was a kid. I even went to see Al, Paco, and John at Carnegie Hall when I was a teenager. I swear to God, that's how old I am. But so I was really surprised when I read that Al was in one of your camps. But I wanted to bring up his picking style, Al, all right, because he's an alternate picker. But he seems to have a picking style that would serve him well for playing gypsy jazz. But then after speaking with Antoine Boyer, where he told me gypsy jazz places a greater emphasis on downstrokes, I changed my mind. So my question is, do you think Al's fast alternate picking style naturally can translate to gypsy jazz playing?
We're trying to produce a tone. You know?
Yeah.
He plays a certain way and he produces the tone a certain way for himself. And like all this alternate picking like that,
yeah.
For me, I consider it as a peripheral thing from that central thing of the oud. It's not that one is bad and the other one is good. Is sometimes one is better than the other depending on what you do. It's like the sweeping. The sweeping is great at some moments, you know what I mean? It depends what you play. You need different technique. For example, at times, can I play something or not?
Sure, please. I would love that. My viewers would love that as well.
So you see with the... I have an introduction like that. So usually the guys, when they come from the Django, they do that with the Django technique. And I say, no, it's not like that. You need to let things resonate, so you cannot play the Django technique on this. It's not good. So depending on what you do, it's good or it's not good, you know? But
sure.
I will give you a few examples. So musical, is it okay? A few musical examples?
Yeah. I have a cadre of jazz musicians and musicians who follow my channel, so they'll really appreciate this.
So the first thing is, see, it used to be a quill. Do I have a second pick here? Let me see if I have one of my regular picks here. I do not, but that's okay. I like to hold two of the same pick, but that's fine. So I have a pick here. I put a second pick in my hand. See, like that.
Gotcha.
I feel like I'm holding a stick, you know? Now, this is like more like the oud kind of hand. So if you do things like a... See what I mean? Like you enter that zone, like very meditative, you know.
Now, I noticed that your right hand, are you getting most of the movement from your wrist?
Yes, exactly. It's like hitting with a stick.
Yeah.
The point of impact is not here, it's there. So now I'm going to do something completely different. If I don't have that technique, I cannot phrase a regular waltz like that, for example. Etc. You see what I mean? You cannot freeze like that if you don't have that technique. Or like a Django thing.
Got it.
Or if I do something completely different. See what I mean?
You're still emphasizing the downstroke, even there, with some of these things.
It doesn't matter, like it. Etc. You see what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, Antoine said something to me very interesting. He said, when I play gypsy jazz, because I said to him, so the upstroke is more like a recoil to the downstroke, which is like the main thing. So he said, yeah, I think of it as coming up to fall better. I want to fall better. If I'm falling better with my right hand, I'm playing better.
It's just like a way to produce a tone, allows you to play a nice, and allows you to phrase better. You know, if you're see, and if you.
It's all about the tone. It's all about the sound.
About the tone. But for example, if I play a thing like that,
Totally
like,
different sound.
now I don't. Now I'm playing like alternate, you know.
Yeah. Now, are you using a 3 to 4 millimeter pick?
2.5.
2.5.
Yeah.
I was thinking, gypsy jazz players, they must break a lot of strings, because it seems like it's very hard on the instrument and the strings.
You break strings in the beginning when you're young, because then the technique gets good. You produce tone. It's just you don't. Once you have the right technique, it's a different kind of force.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? It's like so there's a momentum in it that makes it not hard force, you know.
So if you're breaking strings, you're doing it wrong. You're too much of a beginner because you're not using the right force.
Strings break. Yeah. But if you're not breaking a lot of strings, it can be because your technique is not good, or also because your bridge is too sharp. Sometimes the bridge is too sharp. Sometimes little things in it. So what you do when the bridge like that, you take we call it a criterium. It's a pencil, you know, with like very thin end, and then you like you pass that pencil in it, you know, and with the graphite, it kind of smooth it and create a coating, and then after that, the string is feeling better. It doesn't break anymore.
Wow, that's amazing. What type of wood do you like using for your guitars? What gives you the best tone?
This one has spruce, my other one has a cedar.
Do you have a preference, spruce or cedar? No? Because some guys do. Some guys swear by cedar. I get the best tone with cedar.
Yeah, but I like to think more like the guitar itself. You know, it's like people, I prefer like the blonde, or I prefer the... you know what I mean? Maybe you meet someone and you don't care if they have blonde hair or dark hair, and maybe, you know... Maybe one is nice and the other one is not, and depending on the day, you know, depending on who you meet.
Right. Yeah, some days you like chicken, some days you like fish, some days you like beef.
And you know, a guitar is a guitar. This guitar is spruce. What can I tell you? It's my prime instrument.
Yeah. Right.
I have another one which I love also was with cedar. That used to be before I got this vintage instrument.
Right.
It used to be instrument. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. If I like the guitar, I like it. There's not only like that, there's also the playability. There is like
so many factors.
It's a mysterious thing.
Yeah. Sometimes you play the guitar with a wider sound opening. How does that affect the sound? Like sometimes, you know, you have a small sound opening here.
Yeah.
So that doesn't really affect the sound so much?
I don't know. Depends on a certain way, but I think really guitar by guitar, it reacts one way or another. I don't know. It's like it's so mysterious to me. I don't understand.
Yeah, some guys are more particular about these things than others. You seem to be less particular about it. You just have a feeling about an instrument.
Yes, because I do like that with everything in life. I try not to be too, how can I say? I try to always leave a space for doubt and for like that, for letting things to come. Because if you put in your mind that you don't like spruced up guitar, and there is a guitar with spruced up, maybe you're not going to even try it while it was the guitar of your life. You know what I mean? And
right.
So I think I think that everyone has good ideas, everyone has shitty ideas, and it's a good idea for you, and maybe it's a bad idea for someone else, and so I always try to like listen to people, listen to music, and take what's there to take, but knowing that I don't possess a truth, I just possess a point of view.
Yeah, and also one day you may like your shitty idea that you didn't like the day before, right?
Yeah, and sometimes it's not a shitty idea intrinsically. Sometimes it's just like a question of taste, you know?
Yeah, which is ever evolving. Which is ever evolving with us, even as an individual.
Oh yeah. It's always so. There are things that you can tell are of better facture than others. For example, St. Peter's Basilica is of better facture than the bank building around my house. You know what I mean? You can tell like a masterpiece of architecture. You can tell that a Bach cantata is of better facture than a Beatles song. You know. And if you prefer listening to the Beatles song, it's okay also, you know what I mean? If you prefer my house is of a lesser facture than St. Peter's Basilica, and I'd rather live in my house, you know what I mean? So, after that, see, like, I always see dualities. What I like and what I don't like, what is of good facture, what is not good facture, you know what I mean? What is like properly built or not, or and it's important to separate both.
Yeah.
Sometimes, for example, I'm not a cook, so I try to eat good food, you know, but good to my taste, you know. I'm not gonna get off my way to eat things that I don't really have an attraction for, you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
I don't have a skin in the game, you know what I mean? But if I would study cooking, then I would eat more like clams and stuff like that, which I usually don't like. And I would try different dishes, different whatever, trying to understand like every spice, every this, every that. Maybe try like things that I would never eat, like brain, you know what I mean? But maybe and prepare it and taste it with a completely different mind, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not a mind of like I like it or not, but a mind of like how is it prepared, what the texture, how does it react? It's a different thing.
See, and I thought you were a good cook. Those are just stereotypes playing in my mind because people think French people are good cooks. Like every French person's a good cook.
Well, usually you're a good cook because your grandmother is a good cook or your mother.
That's true.
But usually in France, always come from the grandmother. The grandmother is a good cook. Usually there's something like goes through that, you know.
Well, my grandmother was a great cook, but I suck. I can't cook for anything.
Did you learn from,
that doesn't always work.
Did you try? Did you have the
Yeah, I'm
passion?
terrible. I'm terrible cook. You know, like even though my grandmother tried to teach me, I was like a lost soul, just like hopeless.
So there is never really a rule, you know.
You have to know when to give up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hey, tell us how you got started working with Woody Allen on his films, landing Big Brother and Vicky Cristina Barcelona in 2008, and also your Grammy Award-winning piece, Bistro Fada, from Midnight in Paris in 2011. How did you hook up with Woody Allen?
So the first time they asked me if they could use my song in Vicky Cristina Barcelona. Then in 2011 they asked me to compose a theme for Midnight in Paris. Bistro Fada. We won a Grammy Award for that. The time I was in Magic in the Moonlight, I was playing in a scene. I composed a song, but the scene got cancelled. That was it.
Typical singers.
And the fourth time I worked with him was for Rifkin Festival. They needed a European composer, so I got selected, and I did the score for the whole movie.
Wow, that must have been exciting at the time.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's also a lot of pressure.
Big responsibility.
Yeah, you got to deliver fast and good.
On time, deadline, right?
And it's not even the deadline, is you deliver until they got what they want. You cannot, how can I say? You don't have time to rest mentally. You have to do it, and you cannot let go.
They're they're on top of you, asking you for revisions. Like, okay, do this over again. Fix this, fix that. No?
I send things, okay, that I like, that I'm not going to use. That's good, that I will use. Can you compose a thing with that in mind? I send a few things. Okay, I'm going to keep this one. Because he likes to place things himself. He doesn't like to be bothered. And I know they are doing editing, so it's a lot of pressure. And you cannot back down until they have everything. Everything is in the movie, and it's done. Then you can relax. But otherwise, it's like, that's all you do. It's like, think about...
Boom, boom. Yeah. Now, Woody brought you in himself, didn't he? Woody Allen actually... It was his decision to bring you in.
Yeah.
Where'd you meet Woody Allen?
He liked my music.
He just like found you and then reached out to you, in other words. That's fantastic, man. Hey, when did you first meet the young great guitarist Antoine Boyer? Did you know he would become such a great player when he was young?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I met him, he was what, 14, 15, perhaps 12, 13? I don't know. He was like very, very young. Many years ago, eons ago.
Yeah, I saw you playing with him on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great.
And what you saw, we were playing in difference. We already played together before that, like the year before or something. So really it's a long time ago.
Yeah. So he was a prodigy, like he from a very young age, would you say?
Very well structured, you know, and his dad would like really like take him to like see the gypsies and stuff. He had like parents who were like following him too, you know, which is very important, you know.
Right.
Because parents encourage you to do nothing and take drugs and all, like then you're gonna have like a rough future. But if you have parents who like accompany you, you know, you want to be a musician, okay, you're gonna go to the Paris Conservatory, and when you know like you're protected behind, it also helps. I think it's a combination of talent, good family, a beautiful place to live. Chartres, and especially where he lived, was gorgeous. So I think it's a combination of everything. But of course, in the middle is his personality, you know. And it's funny because I think he has almost more like a personality of a classical musician.
Well, he plays amazing classical.
Oh, yeah, one of the best, you know. Like, I don't know anyone who plays Scarlatti better than him. No. He's a monster. I love his playing. Absolutely love it.
You said something...
I love him. He's a good friend, you know.
Yeah. Is this the first time that he played Django Agogo?
Yes, because before that he was too young and he was going to the conservatory and he was doing this and that, so it was not the time. So finally, it was the time.
Yeah. He's one of my favorite players, actually. What do you think makes Antoine's style so unique?
Antoine Boyer, he's like he studied with the gypsy masters at first, so he had the command of the right hand. He had like the technique, the oud technique to produce the tone and all that. And he studied a classical at the National Conservatory. So he's a real classical, and the combination of both things together, you know what I mean? Like created.
That's rare.
And he has his personality in the middle, It's always the same thing. It's the personality inside,
Wow. Can you explain what the sympathetic vibrations of a guitar is to my viewers? You mentioned that in another interview.
If you have the right hand technique.
Yeah.
For example, if you play, I don't know if you can hear it through the microphone like that. If you play like with the usual like right hand like that rock guitarist and all, where you try to mute everything, and you play like the first phrase of Montagne Sainte-Geneviève by Django Reinhardt, you're going to end up with that. Now, if you have the right hand technique, I don't know if you can hear through the microphone the reverb of the guitar.
I hear the background resonance.
Yes, because you open all the overtones. So you have the...
Beautiful.
And all that resonate like that.
Yeah, that's gorgeous.
Sometimes when I do sound, guys who don't know us or anything, they're like, some guys like, something is about to feedback. It's like, nope, it's just the way I play. I read the overtones and you think it's going to feedback, but it won't feedback.
So you could do that on electric too.
Well, you have to after that, but it's once you put a pickup on it in an amp, it's electric.
Yeah, but you could still get the same sympathetic vibrations.
Yeah, you do.
Control it.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
It's fascinating. Hey, I saw your video of your rendition of Minor Swing, and I put it on repeat because I really enjoyed it, watching it several times. And you pay homage to Django by playing the head with only 2 fingers. Yeah. Obviously, you could play it with 4 digits, but why did you decide to play that with 2 fingers only for that piece?
Because it's fun, you know what I mean? And
good answer.
First, it's a subject of a study, Yeah. Now with 4 fingers. See, you reposition the 1 and the 2 at the same place. So, here the only note that changed, for example, is that. So it's almost like 90% stay the same. Yeah. Just a few times it's easier to put the 3 or the 4, but otherwise, like most of it stays like roughly the same because you learn positioning with that. See, this is the positioning part of the hand, 1 and 2. So you learn to position your fingerings perfectly.
Yeah, and you could have played the whole piece with 2 fingers if you wanted to.
But after you have more fingers, it's a bit uncomfortable, to play it on tempo and all that. But sometimes it's better to play with 2 fingers, Especially when you're like up there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Gorgeous.
See here, like I went back to the.
Yeah. You could get better phrasing with two fingers, I think.
Yeah. Sometimes, see, the thing is, there is no rule. But you know one thing, you know another. It's like saying boxing is better than karate, which is better than jiu-jitsu, which is better than. No, it's like depending on what happens, one thing is better than the other. You know what I mean?
Do you use fingerstyle picking in any of your playing?
Yes, I study actually classical. You know.
Really?
Yeah, but on the classical guitar with the position and all that, you know, like.
Could you play classical guitar right now on that guitar? Or something similar to it?
It's difficult because like it's very completely different. The strings are not far apart. They are very close to each other. Everything is completely out of proportion, and they require more strength to produce a sound. But things like
wow.
So when I do things like you see, I just feel uncomfortable on this guitar.
Yeah, it's not proper, but I could hear that you have a tremolo too.
Oh yeah, I worked on all that, you know.
Yeah. I would love to see you play classical guitar in a concert.
Well, I played those the Django ones. See what I mean? That's the preludes written by Django, but they are with the pick, you know.
Do you use hybrid picking? Do you use the pick and the fingers together?
No.
Ever? No? Like I see Joshua Stephane, he goes like this.
Yeah.
Funny tricks.
Yeah. No, I'm more like a pick player already, like.
Yeah. So, who are the best current players in the jazz style?
In the Django Jazz, like the Django world?
Django Jazz, right now.
In the
Name four.
It's hard to say a best or not best, you know. The legends such as Birelli Lagrène and Angelo Debar and Serge Kaye, Yeore Rosenberg and Raphael Faiz, you know. And you have like the newer people, and they're masters that people don't know. Like Antoine is very young, but he's a great master, you know.
Yes.
Adrien Marco, Hugo Gesbar, Simba Baumgartner, Django's grandson.
Joshua Stephane.
Yeah, Yoshko Stefan, very great player. But also like Gizmo Graf, who's coming next year to Django Agogo, German player, amazing. Sebastian Felix, who's a grand master, who lives like a very like quiet, reckless life in center of France, that everyone goes to study with him. Like there's like many people, you know.
Man. So you're going to have a whole new set of musicians next year.
Yes.
Every year you change the musicians.
Yeah. And I produce a different kind of show.
You never repeat the same show from one year to the other.
Sometimes I have themes like next year I'm still going to have like the Django New Orleans, you know, my 9-piece band, joining because he was too good. And so I like to mix them up also. But depends on who is coming to play, you know.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, explain to my viewers, what's the difference between the Stephane Wrembel band and the Django New Orleans band?
It's a 4-piece band, 2 guitars, bass, and drums. A lot of my compositions. And the other one is Django New Orleans. So we're a 9-piece band. We kept the 2 guitar and the violin, but we replaced the bass by a sousaphone. We have drum, percussion, trumpet, saxophone, clarinet, singer.
So that whole band was designed to emulate the New Orleans sound of Django. But you had a 17-piece band at one point.
Oh yes, when we blend everyone. But the second set that you saw was Django New Orleans.
Right.
And we invited Jean-Michel Pilc on piano, one of the greatest piano player on earth.
He was amazing.
Yeah, Jean-Michel is he's legend. So
you had a tuba player. You had a singer. You had, I think, 2 bass players who alternated.
And for the jam.
Yeah. That was great. I mean, it was really just a great visual. I brought my friend who knows nothing about Django Jazz. He loved it.
Good.
He says, oh, I love it. You know, like, it transported you back to another time. So whatever you're doing, keep doing it, because for someone who doesn't know anything about Django Jazz and to love it like that, I think you're doing something there. So what do you have planned on the calendar for the rest of the year, Stephane? Moving forward this year and going into 2026. Anything good?
Yeah, we have 2 shows in France in July, early July, July 3rd and 5th in Fontainebleau and in Samoa and in Paris. Mm-hmm. And we have the release of the Django New Orleans 2, the second album of Django New Orleans.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we're going to do the official release at Dizzy's in October 30th, 31st, November 1st, November 2nd. We have 8 shows at Dizzy's in New York City.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
Yeah, that's going to be great.
Yeah, I'm coming for sure. October 31st for 8 shows. Yep. I got no excuse because last time I had read that you sold out all the shows in 2021 at Dizzy's.
We'll sell out. Dizzy's is like a good place for us, you know. Like, they have a good crowd. They love what we do, and so yeah, it's going to be sell out. So it's better to get the tickets now, you know. And
you promote it heavily, like months in advance?
We haven't started yet. We're starting like soon.
Right.
Starting that promotion stuff, like.
Gotcha.
And then what else? Like, I think I'm gonna be in California in January, and then but there's like other things. We are going to Texas in November. We have Rochester also in October. Mm-hmm. We have a lot of gigs everywhere, and of course there is Django Agogo 2026, which is going to be the week of May 12 to 17, 2026, and we have 2 nights at Symphony Space this time.
Awesome.
Yeah, we had 1 night this year, and next year we have 2 nights because it was such a huge success.
So Django Agogo is confirmed for 2026 right now.
Oh yeah, we already have we haven't announced yet. You know, I just prepared the box office, and we already have people buying the guitar camp without even talking about it. Their eyes on it, you know. So it's gonna be an amazing year with Angelo Debar, Serge Camps, Frank Anastasio. They recorded in 1989 the album that restarted the whole thing called Gypsy Guitars. Mm-hmm. For 35 years, and I put them back together 2 years ago to release the album here in America. And they recorded a new album after that. So now they just released it. So we're going to do the official release in America for Django Agogo, you know. So they're coming not only to play the album in New York, but they will also teach songs of the album, things that they did, arrangements of the album and stuff in Maplewood for the guitar.
See, I love that. I love that these great players, you allow them to share their supreme, pristine knowledge to other players, regardless of the level. These camps are great. I really admire that. Other styles of music, they should do camps like this.
It's next to, I don't know, to Mark Knopfler for 5 or 6 days, and you have lunch with him and breakfast with him, and you hear him talk and you hear him play and all, and you're in his presence for all these days. Whether you're a beginner or not is going to do something to your mind, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, you're just going to absorb it through osmosis. It's going to have some effect on you, in a positive way.
Oh yeah.
Without a doubt.
That's why I have people doubting, oh, am I good enough? Oh, I don't know enough of Django. It doesn't matter. Just come, sit, and you will see. And some do. Some, they're just like, all right, they have a leap of faith. They come, and after they say, you were so right. That was so amazing. I got so much from the camp. It's incredible. I'm coming back next year and all. So it's very exciting.
So I'm going to put the link in the description for my viewers for Django Agogo 2026 when it's ready. Are you bringing Antoine back next year for 2026?
But Antoine is going to be back. Antoine and Yeore, they will be back for sure. Usually I try not to have the same people back, like back to back.
Yeah.
I do an exception for Angelo Debar and Serge Camps and Frank Anastasio because they were here 2 years ago. They are releasing the album. So I think like it's okay. And I have like already, I know who I want for 227 and it's everyone's mind. And I have also a great idea for 2028. I have like this.
You think ahead.
You have to. Because to work on a festival that size, you know, is like I have like 5 concerts and the guitar camp and I deal with everything, you know. You have to do the visas, you have to organize the lodging, transportation, publicity, you have to produce the shows, you have to produce the classes, who is going to be in which group, who is going to do what, talk to the sponsors. It's like a lot of work and you need that time.
Do you have a big team? Because this is overwhelming to me. How do you do all of this? You must have a team of 5 to 10 people doing this.
No, we are like 1, 2, 3. See, everyone has like a different task. My dad, for example, he put the posters in town.
Oh, you keep it in the family.
Yeah. My wife organized like the food, the schedule. She organized like the welcome party, who needs which T-shirt, which size, and she helps at the door. She does everything that is like structural, you know what I mean?
Easy.
My manager is working on the publicity with my publicist, and she's doing also the guest list, which is like, you wouldn't believe, this is the hardest thing of the whole festival. Is that to maintain a guest list clean, you must have like a logical mind. Yeah, and Alex, who's also in my management, who does like all the box office, the website and all. And then we have people helping on ground, you know, and otherwise I do a lot of things myself also, you know, but especially for the production, I already know right now I have the next shows. Next year, 4 shows. I exactly know what they're going to sound like, how they're going to be like, and no one knows.
Get out.
Even the musicians don't know because it hasn't happened yet and they don't have the vision yet. But I already know like who's going to play what, in which order, and it's already like clear in my mind, you know what I mean?
You ever think about turning one of these Django Agogos into a recording and an album? That would be great.
Problems, you like need contract with the musicians, you need a lawyer, you need God, you need like money for that, investment. It's just like this
big headache.
Too much.
Too much. A lot of people don't realize that you have all of these problems, all these like hurdles that you have to go over.
This year, for example, when in the festival, and then there is the problem with the Newark airport, all planes being cancelled and delayed and stuff. I don't know if you remember. A month ago, it was crazy. Right in the middle of the festival, trying to reroute people to like different airports and this and that, like getting ready to like go pick up Philadelphia and all while preparing like everything, like the catering, the lodging, like it's.
You're giving me a cringe moment because I used to be a band leader for 20 years. All these headaches that are like on you that people don't realize.
Yeah, and also the visas is the harder part because you deal with the immigration, you deal with lawyers, immigration.
Especially now, it's even harder.
Yeah, it's been really hard since 2023. 2003 is when they started to destroy everything.
Oh man,
like it's a funny thing when you are not inside. You think an election or something or one guy will change or something. In 2000, when I first came, it was very difficult to get visas. It was really rough. Mm-hmm. September 11 and George Bush and all that, I was like, that's going to be impossible. And then it became easier. Become a bit nicer, a bit more like cool. And then I did my visas, normal thing. Then it didn't change for years. Only in 2023 they started to bump up all the prices, and they created a premium fee of $3,000. So if you're getting too close to the date, you need to pay the premium. And now, we had 2 centers, and now that they created a third one. So before East Coast was to the East Coast Center, West Coast to the West Coast Center, a third one where everything goes and they send it randomly. And since then, like, everyone has to pay the $3,000 premium.
Oh my God.
That's like as of last year. Since May 2024, no one had a visa without paying the premium.
So like, every musician has to pay $3,000.
Yeah. I mean, I do it for the band, you know, but that's like, there's a lot of fees. That's just the premium, because you have the lawyer, you have like all the visa fees, and then the interviews and stuff, you know.
So the musician themselves pay the $3,000.
No, it's me.
You pay it. You have to pay it.
Yeah.
So if you have 17 musicians, you have to pay 3,000 times 17.
No, it depends. If you have 17 single musicians, yes.
Yeah.
If you have a band, because this is a band, Django Agogo is a band. So they come to the band, so I paid a one-time fee for the band.
Oh, that's good. Okay. I thought it was 3,000 times 17.
Yeah. But that's still like, it's a lot of money, you know, like once you have a visa, you know, it's like no good. But this is a lot of work, because you have a lot of paperwork. You have to find like people to write letters, recommendation letters. You have to write bios, find like press link for everything.
That's what I mean. Not everyone can do what you do.
No, why don't you hire someone to do it? It's like, you know what? I know these people. I know who they are. No one can talk about Angelo Debar or Gizmograph or Sebastian Felix like I can, because I know them. I know exactly who they are. No one here can. If you have to write something about Mark Knopfler, maybe you can, but not about these guys.
Right.
I'm the only one who can do it. Plus, I communicate with them. I'm the contact, you know. So it has to go through me, you know.
But you're the astute businessman, because these guys, if they could do it themselves, they'd be doing a Django Agogo. But I mean, the thing is that these guys are players. They're amazing players. They're legends. You know them, and you facilitate this great event.
Yeah,
you should be very proud.
Yeah,
be very proud.
Do it, you know.
Someone's got to do it, and you're doing it.
If you do a restaurant, you try to do a 3-star restaurant. You will cook, but you also will have to deal every day with what's in stock. Did you do this? Did you do that? Did you do it? You have to keep your hands on what the waiters are doing. Are they doing their job? Are they bringing the plate like on time and all? Does the new guy really cut like the carrots how you want him to cut? Does he have like, you know what I mean? Is he like slacking around? Things need to be delivered, and suddenly the toilet has a problem, so you need to put a filter, so.
You're like a manager. You're like an ultimate manager. You ever get musicians who don't show up to the gig, who don't show up to Django Agogo? You ever have that?
No.
Thank God.
Yeah, no, it's not. And I know who I'm bringing. That's also the thing. I'm not going to bring everyone. There are some musicians I'm not going to ever have in my festival.
Right, because they're not reliable. You know they're not reliable, and you're only going to bring people that you trust.
If you're not reliable, if you're not nice, you cannot be a part of Django Agogo. You have to be nice, pleasant. You have to love people and love music and want to have a good time. Because Agogo is very professional behind the doors. You know, we make sure that it's like a well-oiled machine. Yeah. We want it to be as like warm and human as possible. You know, it's a real experience. Every musician that comes to play at Django Agogo, they cry because they don't want to leave at the end of the week. They're like, oh, can I stay? I don't want to leave. I don't want to leave.
Another week. Give me another week, please. Let me stay.
Real, because it's a very human experience. Same thing with the students and the people who come to the show. So, because we celebrate the most beautiful part of life, which is that human warmth, the family. You know what I mean?
Amen. I always said, as a band leader, I would rather have someone who I could rely on, who maybe was one tad of a level lower than a player that was better, who I could not rely on.
Oh, yeah.
Always.
Like unpleasant and stuff. You can't do that. You have to be on the road. You have to be like together, one on top of each other, for the whole week.
Yeah, I mean, you're basically a family for a whole week.
Well,
you have to get along.
Yeah, you don't want someone who's going to ruin the vibe. You want the vibe to be good and everyone to be happy.
Yeah, and it's really amazing that for 22 years you've kept that vibe with different people every year. That's what's amazing to me. Because every time you get different people, you have a different chemistry.
Oh,
and
yeah.
You're able to keep that vibe with different chemistries from year to year, which to me is the most impressive and astounding thing.
But
doing.
Instinct. I have an instinct to produce shows.
Right.
I know I'm terrible at creating arrangements, like orchestrating something.
Yeah.
Absolutely terrible. I'm a terrible sideman. I'm terrible in the studio. There are things I can't do. I'm not made for that. So just don't do them.
Right. But you know your limitations. You know what you cannot do and you know what you can do.
Voila, you know who you are. Once you know who you are and where you're good at and what you enjoy doing, because I enjoy doing it. I really love having those people coming for a week. It's like my whole week is taking off to reach Django Agogo and have that amazing, incredible week.
I can tell.
It's all worth it, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I could feel the joy on stage when you were introducing the different players.
Oh, yeah.
Like Mozes Rosenberg, Simba Baumgartner, Antoine Boyer, Sarah King, all of these great musicians that you had. David Gastine. And you had this guy named Sam, who I met on the side of the stage, and he's an upcoming jazz guitarist. And didn't he come out with a new record or something?
Yeah. Unbelievable. He's 21, 22. He's an unbelievable master of the guitar. Sam Farthing. Unbelievable.
Sam Farthing, yeah. And he was the most unassuming, nicest kid when I met him on the side. He looked like, he says, "Can I help you, sir?" He's like so polite.
Yeah.
And it was only the next day when I started reading the liner notes, and I realized, oh, that's Sam Farthing? This incredible monster on the guitar?
Yeah.
I have to really check this guy out more, because this is maybe the future. Like you say, like you're implying.
The present, it's always like the wheel turns.
Yeah. So, Stephane, how can my viewers keep up with your tour dates, and also what's the best social media that they can follow you on?
I'm a lot on Facebook, on Instagram, and I'm going to put more stuff on YouTube now. I really love YouTube, so I really need to get more in touch with YouTube. Mm-hmm. Facebook and Instagram. There is my website, stephanewrembel.com. Mm-hmm. There is the festival, djangoagogo.com. And also, I do teach the guitar. That's a thing, I spent 30 years crafting, analyzing what's happening behind the doors with harmony on the guitar and how it works to improvise, play, and all that. So I found a path that works, that is really amazing. Very logical. Step 1, step 2, step 3. And so I teach that. The mastery of the guitar, and it includes studying the guitar like a oud, and of course it all goes through Django Reinhardt.
And was that included in your instruction book from 2004, the same?
This is more wild, but my teaching is more structured on a weekly basis.
I gotcha. Yeah, I did see that. I did see that you teach both in person and also on Zoom.
Google Meet or whatever,
Yeah. That's awesome.
It works,
Yeah. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we hit it and quit it? Anything else you'd like to say about what's going on that we haven't covered?
No, I think we're pretty good here.
Yeah, I really enjoy this.
Thank you.
I really learned a lot. And my viewers will learn a lot from this interview.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stephane.
Thank you so much.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, and I hope to see you again. And I definitely will come to your October 31st through November something Dizzy shows. I'm looking forward to that. Sure. And I'll try to see you backstage or on the side or during your break and say hello.
Yeah, of course. It's going to be great to see you.
Yeah, same here.
Okay,
Okay,
thank
my
you.
friend. So good to see you. Take care.
Bye.
Bye bye now.